Welcome back to CodingCat.dev, where we give you cats the freshest dose of dev snacks. Here is Alex Patterson and Brittany Postma. This episode brought to you by Storyblok. Build anything and publish everywhere. Hello, everyone. It's a happy Friday for us. Probably when you're listening, it'll be a Wednesday, but it's been lovely up here in Michigan. It's finally getting warm.
It is finally warm enough to open the pool, and it's still a little chilly, but it's warm. And I love our intro music. It always gives me energy, especially this early in the morning for us.
I couldn't imagine getting in a pool right now. It's still too cold for me.
I warmed it to 72, and it's not as cold as Michigan.
That's true. Nothing's that cold.
Yeah.
We have a couple special guests with us today who are going to tell us all about SvelteLab a little bit later on. If you wouldn't mind, Antonio, can you go first and just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Antonio Sarcevic. I'm professionally developing web applications professionally since 2019, and mostly Angular back then, but recently, since 2020, somewhere around that, I started using Svelte and never looked back.
Very cool.
That's how it is for most people.
And Paolo, do you want to give us a little breakdown?
Sure. I am Paolo Ricciuti. I'm from Italy, and I'm a developer professionally too. I started coding for fun, 17 years old year ago. I started with PHP, but I took a little break, and then I come back 5 or 6 years ago to do it professionally. And I fell in love with Svelte, and I love Svelte and the Svelte community as a whole.
And how did you two get together to start working on things? Was it just through Svelte community, or?
Yes, because when Svelte Society announced the hackathon, Antonio was the culprit because he wrote a tweet on the Svelte Society tweet, and he said, "Who wants to team up?" And I said, "Yeah." We started to brainstorm something that we could work on, and we interacted before on Twitter because I love Svelte and he loves Svelte, so we did the advent of Vue in Svelte. We bought these, and we talk about Svelte on Twitter very often.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about that before the show, about how the developer community, especially the Svelte community on Twitter, just feels so close, and it's like we all love each other and we're friendly, and it's a nice place to be. Sometimes there's still some fires out there.
Yeah, Twitter can be like that.
I'm curious, Antonio, when you were writing, it sounded like Angular originally, and then you kind of got into Svelte. What was that like for you? Was it like, this is so much easier, or this is the cool new toy, the shiny thing that I want to get into? What was that experience like?
Yeah, so originally I was looking at web components, so I was trying to figure out. I learned the original API for it and felt like, okay, this is not something you want to do day to day. It's very manual and very imperative, so you really have to get in there and do the DOM manipulation yourself if you want to do it the classic way. So I looked at an article. I think it's called all the ways you can create web components, and Svelte was pretty high up in the metrics, so the package size, bundle size, and the performance was pretty good. So I checked it out, and then I looked at the syntax. At first, I was really not sure because the if blocks and stuff, it really looked kind of strange. But after trying it out a bit, I really fell in love because it just helped me get so much off my mind. In Angular, it really helps to have this solid structure. It really forces you to think in a very structured way and to think what are the modules you are going to have, what are the components, and how do they fit together. So it really helps to structure the code, but I feel Svelte just takes a lot of my plate, so I don't have to think about that many things. I can just build, and then it kind of works that way.
think it's really funny, like listening to people talk. They either love or hate the templating syntax, and I think it really is about how your mind works and how you can either read JavaScript well and your mind stays in JavaScript land, or you read it more like English. And I think if you just read these more like English, like it feels like it flows better to me than something like JSX. But that's a personal preference.
Now I would say the if blocks totally make sense. In Angular, we have this ngIf directive, so it's on the element itself.
Yeah.
And it's less to write, but it's also hard to spot. So if it's like nested, you don't really see the structure. And the if block and the
Yeah.
else and the each block, they really help to structure the code out. So I
Yeah.
now really appreciate them, even though I felt they were really weird at the start.
I'm sitting here thinking about like things like ng template that I haven't written in so long, like easy ways to like flip on and off things, and it's not really a thing in Svelte. Like it's just so easy to make that occur. You don't even need like complicated ways to do things like that. So it's been pretty shocking how simple Svelte is, but yet how powerful it is too. So it's really
I
cool.
just watched this morning Rich on Learn with Jason talk about why the API in Svelte is kind of the way it is, and it's because they've learned to say no to things over time, like no to feature requests that will detract from the API. So making it like as close to HTML as possible and as close to web standards as possible has been something that is like their core principles, and I think they've stayed true to that, and it's really nice to work with because of it.
Y'all are probably closer to this than I am, but I keep hearing rumblings about this switch block. Is that going to become a thing?
Is it the like switch case block? I did see that there's a proposal for that. Maybe in Svelte 4. I don't think it's on the milestones for Svelte 4 though.
I think there's also a preprocessor for it.
Oh yeah.
I missed
Oh,
it.
so you can already use it with a preprocessor?
Oh.
I think there is a preprocessor, but I mean, it's not
Yeah,
that.
it's not official or something. Just
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So what we're gonna break down when we come back from break is this really cool thing called SvelteLab that you both built together, and we're gonna break down all the parts and pieces and why you got into it and all that fun stuff. So we'll see you right after break.
How in the world could I forget about this?
There's no need to freak out. We have Storyblok.
Robert, you're right.
But we still need a plan.
Okay, how much time do we have left until the launch?
24 hours.
Okay, let's go.
We are ready to publish.
So let's get this baby online.
Thank you, Storyblok, for sponsoring.
It's all
Welcome
over
back.
today.
I'm very interested in the fact that you two had never met before and you just decided to pair up for this hackathon. And where did this idea come from to do this SvelteLab project? Let's start about how like the baby came to be.
Yeah, so we first so Paolo had the idea from the start, but I wanted to like explore a bit because I felt, yeah, we already have the REPL and we have Stack Blitz, so maybe it's not that necessary. But at the end, we decided it's worth it because it's really something we wanted. So we wanted like to have the REPL, but a bit more supercharged, a bit more features. So one thing I really needed was the formatting, because I hate formatting the code myself, but I also hate looking at unformatted code. So that was really something I wanted. I think dark mode is also something we really wanted. So we felt the REPL or supercharging the REPL somehow was really worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And having, I think, TypeScript and Prettier and like those things that we've like come to love from having an IDE like VS Code or something, like having those things is really nice. And it's supercharged too. It's not just like the Svelte REPL can do some things, but this can run Node in the browser, which is just insane. So can we talk about web containers for a minute and like that technology? And did you get help from Stack Blitz and how all of that came to be?
we as soon as StackBlitz announced the web container API, I had kind of on the back of my head the idea for something like this, because I wanted something like SvelteLab so bad, because I love to hack something around before starting to work on something. In fact, a lot of the feature of SvelteLab are built into SvelteLab before building. Actually, I mean, I started to hack around in SvelteLab to make the thing work, and then I integrate it inside the SvelteLab code base. And so when they announced the Web Container API, I was super stoked, and I was ready to start. And the hackathon and the fact that we were two of us was just the the tipping point to start to work on this. And actually, the team of StackBlitz is wonderful, because we didn't speak with the StackBlitz team before the release of SvelteLab, but as soon as we released the SvelteLab, Sylvia, which is the DevRel of one, I think, of the DevRel of StackBlitz, reached to us, and they were really stoked about the project, which is something that we are happy about it. But also they were really helpful, because for example, right now we are working on integrating SvelteLab with Svelte language server, and there are a couple of small things that don't really work, because web container are an implementation of Node, obviously. And so we are constantly reporting back to the StackBlitz team, and they are amazing, because like we report something and 10 minutes later it's fixed, and
Wow.
it's
sort of
really
like it's like a
really
symbiotic relationship with them, but they are so helpful, and I feel like they reach out to like all these people. They want web containers available and everything, and I know they worked with like
exactly.
the Safari team, Firefox, Chrome, like trying to get it into all the browsers, but they really are like helpful people, and I feel like they've done a great job of getting this technology out to the world.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really crazy how that stuff even works. I mean, I would never be able to do something like this, but it's like the super simple API. You can get it started pretty quickly. The tutorial is like, do it in a half an hour maybe, and then you have like a minimal REPL already. So basically
But
the
working
task.
with like language servers and stuff like that, I assume a lot of that is complex, and you have to think of a lot of things that maybe off the top you don't understand that you even have to think about.
That's true.
Yeah, for SvelteLab, we had to dive into so many things. Like the original POC was, I think, the first day. In the first day, in a couple of hours of hacking, we had SvelteKit run inside the web container. It was very helpful, but all the stuff around it's very it, it's heavy because
Yeah.
building an IDE it's very heavy, and I mean obviously SvelteLab it's a minimal version of an IDE because it's very simple, and we wanted that way because another things that because we decided to build SvelteLab instead of just using StackBlitz is also because we wanted something very lightweight and very um, minimal, not so complete. And I understand that maybe is something controversial because if you can have more, why not? But I feel like for hacking around something, it's very important to have something minimal. And that's why, for example, I love the Svelte REPL because you just have the ability to create 10 files, for example, and you don't have the fully featured IDE inside your browser because it can be overwhelming. And that's also the reason, for example, because we have the ability to hide the config files because, I mean, you have to touch the vit config, for example, but most of the time in your Svelte journey, you will work inside the source directory. So we hide all the rest so that
Oh,
you
I
don't
didn't even
think
realize
about
that.
Yeah, maybe we can show it just a little bit so people get a little more context too.
Yeah, absolutely. It extracts some of that away. So that's one of the nice things about the Svelte REPL, that you can go in and just do some things. And I know we've had learn.svelte.dev and they've just kind of fully featured that, but it's more tutorial format. So you kind of step through and learn about Svelte, which is what SvelteLab is. Is that similar to learn.svelte.dev?
So the main difference is learn.svelte.dev is very, very locked down. You don't have full access to create new files or rename them. So it's really focused on learning the concepts. And SvelteLab is more like a sandbox, more like the REPL. It gives you every tool. You can totally customize what the project is. You could, if you want, you could like create an Angular project if you wanted. So it's open-ended in that regard.
I just saw one of the favorite features that I'm very excited about, that you have integrated SvelteAdd just right there in the features. Like, I love that. SvelteAdd is one of the best things about Svelte.
Yeah, so we really wanted to bring everything the community has to offer together in this application.
Component for my name.
Yeah, this is all for you.
So what we talked about with the hiding the config files, if you hover over the Hello World label,
sorry.
next to the tabs from the editor, there says Hello World.
Oh yes, sorry.
If you
That's
click
the
the
title
last icon
of the REPL.
Of the REPL. Okay, so you can edit the title there and save that. How does that save? Is there a database backing this?
Yeah, we use Pocketbase to both handle authentication and to save the REPLs. It's a very simple database. Just
So
save the REPLs.
GitHub login.
And
Nice.
it's hosted on fly.io.
Yeah, so you can, if you log in, you can like save examples and share them, just like the REPL.
Sure, let's try it out. Take all of my data.
Yeah, give it to us. Okay, so now if you change something, you should be able to press the little
Did
disk.
you see how fast that starts up? Like, that's just it was like 2 seconds and it started.
Web containers are amazing.
It's
crazy.
truly magic.
I think, am I wrong? Did our web containers talk just come out? I believe.
Recently, yeah, with Eric Simmons.
Yeah.
Simmons?
I always get it wrong. I'm not even gonna try. Stay with Eric. Yeah, this is really incredible. So some things I'm noticing, like you do give like Svelte config is out here and vit config and stuff like that. So that's really neat.
Yeah, you can hide them if you hover on exactly. And
Yeah,
then
so you can
have
focus
nothing
only on the
sourced
code you
folder.
are writing.
That's nice.
I really like that.
But you do have to have access to like the Svelte config for adapter. So you could actually build your application fully in SvelteLab and deploy it to the world without leaving the browser, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yes. I mean, actually, you have to download it because for the moment, we don't have a proper integration with GitHub. Like, you can open your REPL inside your GitHub repo inside SvelteLab, but you can push to GitHub. But yeah, sure, you can download.
So there's no Git's on
no
in the terminal though, right? So could you set the remote?
You could. I mean, you should install isomorphic Git. I mean, you can do it because you should install isomorphic Git, and I think, but we have to figure it out. Like, we want to do it, and we want to help SvelteLab to integrate with GitHub properly. But
so a little background too. This was built for the Svelte Hackathon, which ran from February 17th to April 17th. So they had February, March, April, 2 months to get something that was really good out to the public in hopes of winning. And they did. They won the best, was this ecosystem category?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yes, best ecosystem.
Like spoiler for our perfect picks. I don't know.
Well, should
I move it up one?
I'll show the rest of the winners later. But I wanted to call that out, that this was built in 2 months. So we wanted to get as many features out there so that they had the best chance of winning. And that makes sense. And now you're both still working on maintaining it and adding new features, right?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't even know if we would have ever started this without the hackathon. So I'm really grateful there was like this event that got us together and have a motivation to start this.
They're talking about doing it every year, and I really hope they do, because it's brought so many great projects to the Svelte ecosystem. And it's one of the things that we hear constantly in the Svelte world is that, oh, we don't have a package for this and a package for this. And now we've got lots of them. And then there's just going to be more because of this. It drives interest.
Hopefully Vercel could throw a couple dollars, more at it. They're kind of successful now.
Skeleton?
Vercel, sorry.
Oh, Vercel.
Yeah.
I was obviously, while the hackathon was still the submission was still open, I was reading the hackathon chat in the Discord, and I was really, really scared every time someone posted something, because there were so many amazing projects. Like they integrated Svelte with the Django, and I was like, we are just building our REPL.
There are some crazy ones, like Svelte Legos. I think there's one that like allows you to put Svelte in React and Svelte in Vue, like kind of like Astro, like where you can just piece together different frameworks. But it's interesting.
Where do you see this kind of heading next? Do you think there's like a monetization piece to this, or is this just like, hey, this is our product that was fun, this will go on my resume forever? What's that look like for you two?
So for me, it's really just like a tool we wanted to have for ourselves. So
okay.
I'm not looking to get money out of it. I just want to build something because I would use it. And I think a lot of the Svelte community appreciates it too, because maybe they have use for it. So yeah, we build it for the Svelte community, so it's always going to be open source. And we don't have any monetization plan as of now.
Are there any discussions or open issues that you want contributions or places people could go to stay updated on things?
So we have a Discord channel where you can just pop in and ask some questions, or if you have issues, you can talk about that. But we also have some discussion in the issue board in GitHub. So if you run into something, check if there's already an issue or create a new one, so we can try to get it out of the way.
Awesome.
I need to look into this issue bot. I keep forgetting to. That's a beautiful tool.
Like a GitHub integrated issue bot?
Yeah, just kind of cleans things and notifies and all that fun stuff.
Sweet.
I'm curious, since I don't use this that often, could we show off a sample of using SvelteLab in SvelteLab? That's hard to say. So do you just do it at the command line, or what's the easiest way to go about? Like if I wanted to add Tailwind, how would I go about doing it?
You need to do Command K or Command Shift P.
Okay.
And then you have our command palette, and you can
really
see
cool.
that you can format, you can create a route just like and there is Svelte add.
Oh, nice. There's all kinds
of
of
there's
stuff.
a Svelte add like integration right there. Interesting.
Yeah, and you just pick whatever you want, and then
click one. And it starts doing it all in the same terminal. So I think when you use StackBlitz, like there's a little plus sign and you can add new terminals. So this doesn't have that feature added. This is just one terminal, and it just does everything and then restarts the server for you.
Yes, it has one terminal. I kind of thought of opening an issue to add multiple terminal. For the moment, it's still it's still a thought, but it's doable. For the moment, we show every relevant information inside the integrated terminal.
Is there a potential for theming in the future? Like bringing in your own VS Code theme or...
Sure.
I mean, it's based on CSS variables, so it should be doable. We can think about that.
Yeah.
We are actually using the same CSS that the Svelte kit docs are using, so we are plugging that directly in.
That is really nice. I know they're going through the svelte.dev, so the regular Svelte docs is going through a whole rewrite right now, and it's going to look very similar to SvelteKit when it's all said and done. So it all fits together nicely.
Yeah, we
just need a design system for Svelte so they can stop, just publish the library so they can stop reusing all of this all over the place. Just use the library.
Actually, there is a library. It's Svelte site kit, if I remember.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
What are we using? Yeah. And
I think it has a huge warning in it though, like not meant for external. But I use it
exactly. But we don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, because there are a lot of components that every Svelte site utilizes, so they made this library. Actually, we are using an old version because I tried to upgrade it and broke everything. But we are mostly using for the CSS variables for the theming of the editor and the general theming.
So I have a question. Because this is SvelteKit and not Svelte, we have routing here. We can see the routing working if we added another page. I see page.server.js. So how does this work with server-side rendering when you're just in the client? I guess we have the node server running. So how are we doing this?
Exactly. It's actually the preview, which is what is shown there, and that you can open in another tab if you want. It's using the node running inside your browser to build. So it's actually server-side rendered. You have everything. I have to check because I don't know if it handles automatically these, because StackBlitz, for example, uses a proxy to do post and fetch request from the browser. Because I mean, if you are doing a fetch request from the server, the server inside the web container, it shouldn't have a course, right? Because you are on the server. And so I think StackBlitz are using a proxy, and I don't know if it's something that the package do automatically, so we have that too, or if something that we have to set up, and so we don't have it. I don't know. I have to check.
Makes sense.
Should we try putting one in and see if I can completely break it?
Yeah.
You should test it to the nines. Just like go all out.
If we do what const cats equals fetch. Gotta remember what the cat API.
Await that.
Yes, let me throw a wait in there. Hang on one sec. I gotta remember the endpoint here. It's been a minute.
Oh, there's cats as a service. Cat.
I always use the cat API.
I think.
Why can't I find it?
I always misread it. AAS instead of AAS.
That's not good. Hang on, I just used this in our Svelte course, so I should have it.
Yep. I've used the cat API.
There it is. There's a limit of 10. Okay, let's try that.
In the meantime, can I show off my ARAP customized?
Of course.
Nice.
Hang on, let me make you bigger first.
I'm not wearing my Svelte earrings today for the first time. You have a syntax sticker on there too. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's also the same orange here. Very cool.
Nice.
Back to SvelteLab.
Alex does a Google developer group in Grand Rapids, and we just did Google I/O Extended a few days ago, and I gave away some Svelte Society and Svelte stickers, and those were gone right away. I think there was one left the last time I looked. I was like, wow.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of love for that.
We should have a merch store.
I saw SvelteKit in the Google I/O talk too.
Ooh.
Firebase integration.
Ah, right, the hosting.
Yeah.
Autocomplete's
Also, I've read that. I mean, it was at the summit.
You're not sharing anymore either. Is that on purpose?
Sorry, let me throw that back up.
Okay. So on your server side, you're fetching, you're returning all of that, and then just to catch everybody back up, there we go.
Yeah, theoretically, we're getting 10 cats, sending them back as cats, and then data should have data.cats, theoretically.
And then as cat, and then, yep, you should be able to iterate over those.
Let's do...
Like in,
We also have snippets. So if you do s dash, it will show a bunch of. Sometimes it takes a couple of refresh to catch up, but if you refresh again, it should work.
Okay, so
there's some syntax that's wrong. Load.
hey, can you go back into the server?
It's probably a bad API call here. So
are we getting the JSON out of the response?
That's why we have to await the JSON, right? So we
Yeah.
have to do, this is the...
Oh, you have, that's the data. And then, yep. And then you have to get the data out of that.
It's been a minute since I actually used the full fetch. We got to wait that too.
Yeah, right.
Resp got, is it JSON?
Dot
It's
JSON.
yeah.
And then
Okay,
that's
is that it?
Let's refresh again. Let's see.
Hey,
There we go. Awesome. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, sometimes you run into some CORS issues. I'm not firm on how that goes, but I'm glad it's working right now.
Yeah, that worked great.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, for example, Web Container API requires you to be in a secure context to work. And this means, for example, that forms don't work out of the box, which is kind of a shame because forms are awesome in Svelte. But you can make it work if you disable CCRF inside the Svelte config. So if anyone out there want to make form work inside SvelteLab, you can just go to the Svelte.config.
Can we show that?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's bring that up.
And then in the Svelte config, turn off. It was CSRF.
Yes,
That's in,
cross-site request forgery. Maybe try to show a non-working form first.
yeah, sure. Let's just take this back out for now.
Mhm.
And then action. Just do what, login or I don't know.
You could
something.
probably not put an action. Does it work with query parameters if you don't put an action, like a method on it?
Yeah, you have to with query params, it works because it just update the query params. So it has to be method post.
Yeah, so instead of action, I think you need method post on there.
Oh, okay.
We can create the action in the server file in a second.
Keep hitting tab. I don't know why.
To autocomplete?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it has to be uppercase, the post.
Okay.
I don't think it does. Rich set this up with Jason and it wasn't uppercase, so I think it works both ways.
Oh my gosh.
Are you going to put a label on your input?
No, I'm lazy. It takes too
That's
long.
self-closing, yep.
There we go. All right. I should probably put a button though. Maybe.
Submit button.
Actually,
yep.
if the input is the only thing inside the form, you can just submit with enter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
I guess I did because I always hit enter. I just always add a button, so I don't know why not.
So if you try to press Alt-Shift-F, it will format.
Alt-Shift-F. I don't have an Alt. Option-Shift-F?
Option,
maybe?
yes. Sorry, I'm a PC guy.
That's okay.
Oh, that is so nice.
Yeah,
I
so
think-
this is one of the reasons I really needed this.
Yes.
So on the server side, do we add the action in there or does it not matter?
Yes.
Okay.
You can type kit action and it will. You need
It's
to
outside of the load, though.
outside of the load.
Ah, that's right. Sorry. Did we export again or no?
If
He
you
just
type
gave you a
kit
shortcut.
action,
Kit.
kit action, it will autocomplete.
Thank you.
and enter. Yeah.
Then
There
you
you
can
go. That's nice.
export.
And it
export
gets the
default.
types in there for you.
Yeah, actually, right now it doesn't work. I mean, it's there, the JS doc comment, but
With this, you
it
can just
doesn't
use a default key and then
exactly.
do whatever.
Oops, sorry.
All right.
I mean, if you want, you can search the SvelteKit documentation.
That's exactly what I was doing.
You can search the SvelteKit documentation within SvelteLab, right?
Yeah, I keep forgetting the Alt K, whatever this is. So
Command K, right?
or here, I'll just do form actions.
Form
There
actions,
we go. Look at that. And we'll drop this one in.
Mm-hmm.
To really, I don't know. Probably don't have to really do anything.
You just
do we?
can console log the event, etc. Right?
Yep. And this all works with like the web API. So you do like form data and you get the form data and
If I do that,
all the-
it should
Now,
complain.
this should not work.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it's cross-site. So we can.
cross-site.
So now, if you want to make it work, you can go to svelte.config.js.
Okay.
It's up on your tabs. There you go.
And I think it's kit dot so inside the kit configuration, you can do cross-site request forgery. So CSRF false.
Comma. Yep. There we go.
And I think we just died, so we probably need to restart that.
You need to
And
restart.
because you changed the Svelte config, it might not have rebooted correctly.
Okay, so let's see.
It should work.
Beautiful.
All right.
Look
Woo!
at that. Nice hack around.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Obviously, never do these in production.
Yeah. Only in dev. Do that dev param check.
But if you want to use the code outside of SvelteLab, you can also use the command palette to export the whole file system as a zip file, so you can take it and.
Oh yes, is that up here?
Yeah, I think you can do command K,
Okay.
or you can tap there.
Nice.
Yeah. So if
I mean,
you
I
started
think-
building your new product, you can just take it out and
Now I can run it in VS Code. Keep
That
going.
is really nice. That's a
Cool.
great feature.
yeah, we
Yeah, I
don't
love that.
want to lock
the
you
command
inside.
we are currently writing the documentation website for SvelteLab because I mean, after all, it's a tech product. So VS Code has a documentation, and we need a documentation website for SvelteLab. Also because I think the command palette it's something very very useful that not very people knows about.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, a lot of websites are starting to integrate that. I'm actually curious. I saw something and I'm not remembering exactly what I saw, but you were talking about the documentation site and what you're going to be using to build that with.
MD specs.
MD specs. Oh yeah, we were having the MD specs conversation and that's where I saw it. I was like, "Oops."
I'm gonna pick your brain after we get done too. I have some pretty serious questions about MD specs.
So
I mean,
are
I'm
you
not an expert, so we are just building our docs.
That's
You're
fair.
not doing any auto-generated docs. You're just hand writing everything and doing all that. I think
Yeah, that's the idea for now.
Shiki's one of the ones that will like do some auto-generation.
I mean, it's mostly a user manual than a technical documentation. So
Yeah.
we want to just show off what you can do and how you can get it done, and so people have a better introduction. Because, I mean, it's a simple editor, but there's still a lot of features going on that are not completely visible. The Vim key bindings, for example, you have to go through the command palette, so it's already it's always hidden in there somehow, because we wanted to have the UI as clean as possible. But that, of course, makes it hard to discover features.
Yeah. I have a very controversial question for you.
Oh boy.
Did you write it in JS or TypeScript?
We are using TypeScript proudly.
That is, for everyone out there, that is controversial because Svelte is talking about a rewrite in JS and people are like, whoa, you're getting rid of TypeScript? What are you doing? But it's fine. There's still types.
It's so funny how many people are having opinions that really don't need to.
It's like, it's not going to affect you at all.
Yeah.
Rich said that it's for libraries, so we are a website. We are allowed by Rich to use TypeScript.
Yeah.
And it's funny because before I was writing the documentation for SvelteLab, and I was talking about how, for example, inside the OG REPL, you can't use TypeScript. And I added, but nowadays, who is not using TypeScript? And I put a link to the controversial Y Combinator post where someone was pitchforking against Rich for.
It is crazy. It's like the Tailwind community too. Like we get that with Tailwind, we get it with TypeScript. It's like there's so many personalities in those spaces. That's a nice way to put it.
I think this is a perfect time to jump over to our perfect picks. And I think we have Zelda up first. Who was Zelda?
The new Zelda game just released today, and I already started playing a bit, and I'm definitely going to play a bit more. It's basically the same game, but more content and more stuff to do, so I'm really looking forward to spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this. I've been asking my son, when's this come out? When's this come out? He's like, you're so annoying. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm so excited for it. I loved beating the first game, the first one so much, Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
I love beating that so much that I would actually just reset and replay it again. And he's like, oh, what are you doing?
Wow.
You just start it all over. I'm like, I don't know. It's fun. I just wander around.
The world is so fun to explore and just lose yourself inside.
Okay, our next pick is pretty hard to get. So,
I just realized that I'm a stupid person. So
don't say that.
You might have to edit that out. He's fine. He's a great person.
Thank you. But when you said picks, I was thinking about you need a pic of me. So I said just
that's
take
our fault.
the one on Blue Sky. And so
that is a good pick, though. I mean, look at that.
This is my
so
pick.
your pick is your pick.
You look like you might be in like Italy, about to grab some wine.
Yeah,
Blue Sky is a very popular pick right now, so it worked both ways.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah,
I think because of Brittany.
Sorry, everyone, because
I think Brittany hooked me up with the invite code this morning, so I don't even know what mine will do, but I guess that's my profile.
I mean, I'm probably not following a lot of people yet, so you don't have anything set up, but it's there, and it's fun. Cool. So if you can get in, it's kind of an invite-only club right now, which is unfortunate, but
cool kids only.
Might have a little bit of work, I think, on their end. We'll see.
I don't know that it's more chill than Twitter, though. They had this thing called a hell thread within the first couple of days I was there, and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Wow. All right, Britt, what are your picks?
Okay, first one is Citadel. That's an intense picture that they've got up on front. So we've watched a couple episodes of this, and I think they're releasing it week by week, so we can't just burn through it like we do every other show. But it's been really good so far.
I actually just don't think they could hear each other in this scene. They just had to get close to talk. That's all.
Yeah. Rob Stark from Game of Thrones, obviously amazing actor, and I don't know. It's been really good so far. It's kind of spy, secret.
It's been okay. I thought it would be better, honestly.
Yeah. It's watchable, though.
It is. It is.
I just need stuff to watch at this point. Like, I've burned through a lot of things. And Netflix is running out of things to watch. So this is on Amazon.
That was going to be my pick. It's stolen.
Did you also
Oh.
pick beef on the Svelte Radio podcast? Was that you, Brittany?
Beef?
I don't
Yeah,
know
the
what that
Netflix
is.
show.
Oh,
I didn't pick beef.
Okay.
Someone else did, I think, on the episode. I don't know. I picked The Diplomat and I picked a couple of other Netflix shows, but I don't think I haven't watched Beef yet. That might have been Kevin.
Yeah, it's a
Actually-
really very good show.
I
loved
watched like the first half of the first episode and found
Oh.
myself getting a little like intense. I'm like, no, I can't watch this right now.
Okay. Yeah.
I have to exit out of society to like chill out. This is too much.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I need to relax when I'm watching TV. So
Your second pick, which is probably very important for these folks.
yes. So I just wanted to make sure that we called out all the wonderful submissions and people that we had entered the hackathon and the winners. I think the top 5 of each category are listed on the winners route there at the top if you want to click on winners. And you can see Wolf and Svelte, incredible. Just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript built in Svelte. The entire port of Wolfenstein 3D allows you to play. It's very loud if you push play, just forewarning you. But it works fully in all the browsers. We checked. Thrills Mania is a car racing game. There's so many good entries. It's kind of ridiculous. Superforms, very powerful form library for Svelte. Radix Svelte. We had Thomas on with Radix. And yeah, they're great.
I gotta give him props. I didn't even know he was on the list. I haven't looked at this yet.
Yeah, so he got third. And then there's this ecosystem. We've got SvelteLab there, editable website where
What's SvelteLab?
What's that thing? There's Svelters. That's the one that I was talking about where you can pull any framework together. Lots of great things on here. I think eventually we will list a lot more of the entries, like the top 20 or so. But for now, we wanted to give props to the top 5 winners.
So did you all get your like trophies or something already? A
I
check?
don't think we got trophies made,
Yeah.
but hopefully Kevin is getting money out to people, I hope.
Nice. That's awesome. We just had our Google I/O conference. So we ran Google I/O Extended Grand Rapids. It was first time I've led something as large as of an event as that was. We had like 70-ish people. It was crazy. Like trying to like line up speakers. Brittany spoke at it. Couple, 2, 3 people came in they flew in. So that was incredible. And then, just sitting down with community and learning more about everything that was going on was awesome. But the main part of my pick, which I should probably link a little better, it's a little difficult. You can actually go into this join the conversation now. And you can, I probably shouldn't show this on here, so I'm going to close real quick. You can actually converse back and forth with other Googlers, Google engineers directly. So like I'm a Firebase GD, so I reached out to the Firebase team on there. I was like, what's up? Are we hanging out in Miami a couple weeks? And like we talked for a while. So it's cool to have that connection because outside of that, it's nearly impossible unless you have direct emails with those folks. So very cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Little shout out to, just because we're running up on time, we're about to jump over to our Learn, Build, Teach Discord for our wins of the week. So if you're ever interested in a community that tries to build people up, unlike some of the social networks, we actually sit down and spend a couple minutes each just saying what we've done this week that we're super excited about. And yeah, jump over there. It's learnbuildteach.com. And then there's a little Discord button. Yeah, or / what is it?
Community.
/community. That'll get you to our Discord too. So huge thanks, Antonio, Paolo. Really appreciate you coming on and telling us all about SvelteLab. I can't wait to see where it gets to in the next 6 months. It's probably going to be bought by Microsoft or something.
That would be amazing.
All right,
Thanks
everyone.
for having us.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We'll see
having
you.
us.
Bye.